So very quickly, introduction. We're going to do a quick presentation coming from Jess and Alex. We'll have a small break after that, and then I will host a Q&A where Chris will also join us. We've got some questions that everybody has sent in to us. If you would like to do any more questions, there is the app on the Click app, so please use that. But also, we want to do this fairly informally, so please do just put your hand up, and as and when we'll try and get around to answering your questions. Okay.
Just covered it.
What I just said is what that is. So yeah, please use the app. It's there. It's pretty good. So if you've got any questions, but like I say, we want to keep it fairly informal. So please just put your hand up if you have any particular questions. Okay, with that in mind, I'll pass over to Alex.
Thank you very much. So, how is everyone? Enjoying it? Yeah. Good energy, thanks. Matt, you still with us, yeah? Che, you're right? Just checking. So yeah, we're here to talk about the future of Booking.com cars. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alex. I'm Director of Supply Management. I've been in the business for now 7 years. Look after all of the global regions on a commercial basis.
I'm Jess. I work in the commercial team as Head of Pricing and Ranking for Cars. I joined about 3 years ago, so just before the pandemic, so I'm coming into more normal trading now, so it's good to see.
So what are we going to go through today? So first and foremost, we'll just touch on some of the highlights from 2022. We've got about 8 things to run through, some of the key achievements that we've managed to unlock. Slight change in the running order. We're then going to go through a little bit on strategy. You've heard loads today about it already, so I'll try and make it as specific as I can around what it means for cars in terms of what we're doing. Jess is then going to give an update on some of the commercial deep dive stuff that we're doing, and I'll go on to then where we're going next in 2023.
Great, thanks, Alex. So yeah, I'll take you all through the 2022 highlights, or at least the first half of them. So to start with ranking, ranking optimization has been a key focus for us over the past 12 months. When we think about ranking within Booking.com and within cars specifically, we think about 3 key elements, the first of which is choice. So customers come to our site because they're expecting a breadth of choice when that comes to their car rental. So that's really what we focus on when we're kind of optimizing and prioritizing the cars we're showing in kind of the top 10, top 5 slots. The second is relevance, and the third is customization, moving towards personalization. So with those final 2, it's really about making sure that the cars that are shown to the customers are relevant for their trip type. The more integrated we become with Booking.com as well, the more data we know about customers, what trip they're going on, the kind of travel size, party size that they have. So these elements can help us kind of improve the customization of the search results as well, beyond just a pure price rank. Like you might see on other sites. We want to make it a lot more personable to the customer. The second thing is the Genius expansion as well. You'll have heard it spoken a lot over the past couple of days here at Click. It's a real focus for us, particularly for cars as well, in terms of like joining up the connected trip. So we've done quite a lot of work over the past 12 months just to make sure that we're kind of integrated with the Booking.com systems, and we're focusing on Genius where we need to be, particularly for cars, to help drive that loyalty proposition and build that connected trip. It went live in the app for rest of world last year, and we continue to focus on it for the US market this quarter and next quarter as well. The third is electric vehicles and more sustainable choices for customers. So just off the back of the talks you've just had about sustainability as well, we now have 60% of search results showing an electric vehicle on Booking.com cars. We think that's pretty good. We obviously want to move quicker. We want to build it into the customization and the relevance scores that we have for ranking. So these things kind of go hand in hand. But we've been scaling the supply. We've been putting more supply on our marketplace. And we're really happy with these results. And we plan to kind of just continue in this direction over the next 12 months. The fourth thing is pricing optimization as well. So I've spoken about this during previous talks, but we do invest heavily in our pricing capabilities. Newer tech, faster updates means that our pricing is more reactive to market signals that we're seeing, and my team can react to those market signals as and when we receive them. So we've moved most of our pricing systems over to the cloud now, so we can make daily changes, and we're really getting a robust data set up. Obviously, COVID data aside, things are kind of moving well for pricing, and the more data we have with pricing, the better. I'll go into more detail about pricing in the commercial deep dive section, so I won't touch on it too heavily now, but another key update for 2022 was just moving towards a stronger tech stack for pricing. And the final update I'll give you is about wallet credits. So this is really key for the connected trip as well, and customers can now earn wallet credits for car rental. Later in the year, they'll also be able to burn those credits, so they'll be able to spend loyalty and credits that they've earned on other verticals as well as car. So we see this as being quite key as well for the connected trip vision, making sure that customers can earn and burn credits as and when they need. Alex?
Yes. One thing that went live in Q4 for us was sponsored slots. This is so important for us, we even gave it its own little badge, as you can see. This represents an opportunity for you, our partners, to strategically invest in being able to use the #1 slot in our display. We only launched it in Q4, as I said, so still really early days for us. We've been doing loads of experimenting with it. We've been taking loads of data out of what we've been doing and trying to learn from it. The bottom line is it's really successful. It's had a massive effect in terms of driving booking volumes and also share to partners who've invested in the space. So a really powerful tool for us going forwards. The initial launch of it was fairly basic, if I'm being honest. It was constrained to just single markets, although it could be split as domestic and inbound. But we're certainly looking over the next 6 to 12 months to try and build more granularity into it and allow it to be more of a tactical tool that you guys can invest in. But more on that in a bit. Number 7 for us, we launched a load of new payment methods. You might have heard some of that earlier on today. We've gone from having 30 payment methods to I think now having about 53 in total. So a massive increase in the number of ways that customers can pay with us. And as you'd expect, making things easier for customers has a huge effect then on our ability to convert. So yeah, lots of opportunity coming from the fact that we're making things simpler and easier for customers. And then last but not least from 2022, we launched Portal. The initial launch was constrained to essentially RFPs. We really focused on trying to make it easier and more streamlined for you guys to get paid. The portal itself validates RFPs now, so we don't get stuck in this cycle of errors taking ages to be found and fixed. It does it all automatically for us. That's just a first step in where we want to go with this. There'll be lots more that we're going to launch into Portal over the next 12 months. But again, we'll talk about that when we come on to the 2023 section. So what are we looking at in terms of strategy? The connected trip. You've heard it lots today, and you will hear it, no doubt, lots tomorrow. It is absolutely our North Star of where we're trying to go to. We've listed the verticals there that you can see. There's also insurance included in there, which isn't listed. But this is really important for us within the car rental space. We know that hotel at the moment is a big anchor for us, right? And allows loads of incremental opportunity for us to attach car to. But obviously the big one for us that's in growth at the moment is flights. We know that people, when they book flights, also think about car. So that for us is a massive opportunity. The thing we're really focused on is how do we make it easier for the customer? How do we make it more personal? And how do we make sure that we're driving better value? And the secret here for us is about incrementality. How do we make sure that we're just finding all of the opportunities that are available to us and making sure that we attach car to it as often as we can? And the signals from it are really strong at the moment. So 2 in every 3 car bookings that go through Booking.com at the moment are a connected trip. They have one of the other products already attached to the car. That tells you one of 2 things. Number 1, there's definitely signs that customers are interested in the connected trip and that car rental is a fundamental part of that. It also shows actually that we could probably do more on Booking.com to just have a standalone cars proposition. So both those things are true and both those things are big focuses for us. The big facilitator for Connected Trip is the app. You've heard loads about why the app is important to us, right? We've got this magic number that we're talking about of 80 million downloads. It is the most downloaded travel app in 2022 and something that we're incredibly proud of. And our customers love it, right? We love feedback from both customers and from yourselves. We take a real interest in it and we're seeing really good scores on both the App Store and on Android. So yeah, really, really proud of the performance we get there. And as I say, the app and the journey that it creates for customers really underpins what we want to do with the Connected Trip.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a bit more flavour in terms of what the connected trip is for cars, particularly for this year. So I've got 3 key themes to talk you through. So flexibility, personalisation and loyalty. So starting with flexibility, in terms of the connected trip, what it means is just kind of more ways to pay, more ways to search, and kind of more flexible payment timings. So we've probably heard that customers are kind of expecting more of this now, given the pandemic. They expect more flexibility in their booking arrangements, be that, you know, more cancelable product or just more ways to pay for their car rental as well. So that's something that we're focusing on for this year. Alex has touched on it already. The second thing is personalisation. Connected Trips customers are, we have a lot of data on what other verticals they've booked with, lots of data points about how valuable they are, how often they come back. So we intend to use this within the car verticals to our advantage in terms of showing customers more customizable search results, as I've already mentioned before, and kind of leveraging those insights to help make Booking.com feel more personal to them. And finally, it's loyalty, so Genius. I've already spoken about the scaling that we've done within the app, but a big focus for cars for this year, for the connected trip, is really around loyalty, driving those incentives such as credit, earn and burn, like I've described, and scaling the Genius proposition. We're also really focused on high-value customers, as you probably heard this morning. So they're kind of the really customers that come back really frequently. They don't cancel as much, and we really want to leverage those customers as much as we can within the cars vertical. And then finally, just to really give you an insight onto what the priorities are for this year. So the first one is a laser focus on Booking.com and the connected trip. Obviously, if you've already heard, that is our primary focus for the year. That's really where we intend to do most of our focus for this year. The second is deepening connections. Alex is going to talk to you a bit more on what that means later, but that's obviously a key focus for us as well, driving relationships with you all, as well as deepening the connections we have through things like Portal and other solutions that we can provide for you. And then finally, again, Genius, credits, trip saving, discounts, all of these things to just really connect the trip and connect Booking.com cars to the broader Booking.com booking system. Okay, so changing up a little bit now from the focus is I'm going to take you through a bit of a commercial deep dive. So when I was thinking about what to present to you all, I thought a good question to help answer would be, how do we merchandise products on site? So how do we go from what you send us to what you see on site? So I'm going to take you through 3 key steps when it comes to us taking your product to what you see on site. The first of which is pricing. So again, 3 key themes within pricing, the first of which being the strategy that we set when we're thinking about the markets. We've got Scott's team, other people within supply management in the field. So we really take that insight that you're providing to your partnerships managers, and we bake that into the strategy that we then go to market with. The second is the default pricing system that we have. We price about 200 billion cars on our site every year, and we don't do that single-handedly. We do use machine learning to help do the heavy lifting with that, and then we can layer on those human insights on top of that. We find that to be quite a powerful way of making sure that we can kind of strip away a lot of the manual overhead required, but also kind of leverage the human insights that are really valuable, and that's where we focus our people effort. Speaking of that, again, I spoke about our move to the cloud. I spoke about more of the tech developments that we're doing. This means that we can do more daily overrides and more granular overrides with our pricing. So my team of revenue managers working with Alex and Scott and their teams really do go into the detail and fine-tune those pricing outputs that you see on our site. We're in the data every day, reacting to the signals and reacting to the market events. Okay, so that's pricing. Second is promotions. So again, 3 key steps with promotions, or 3 key elements of promotions. The first of which is partner funded. So you, our partners, will provide us with promotions and we will put those on site. They are applied after we make pricing decisions. So if you provide us with a promotion, we will apply that after we've done all of our logic with pricing decisions in the background. The second is self-funded. So we'll run campaigns ourselves through Booking.com or through rental cars. Be that a Black Friday campaign or another campaign. And the third is always on. So we have these things called trip savings discounts, where we're offering customers promotions on other products to come into the car rental vertical. So that's about a 10% discount at the moment. That's always on. We do run blackout tests periodically to understand the performance of those, but they are kind of our standard always on promotions. And finally, third is visibility. So in terms of how are you seeing the cars listed in the search results? What's that rank order? Again, we do a default ranker. So we do use machine learning to help us do the heavy lifting with this. The 3 variables that are most important within that algorithm are price, quality, and car type. So they are the 3 most important variables that we see from the data in terms of whether a customer is interested in the product, whether that product is relevant to them, and therefore whether they're likely to convert on that product. Second, what we call boosters. So these are kind of commercial injections, commercial levers that my team can use to move cars around in the search results once, again, the machine learning has done the heavy lifting. And we focus on the top 10 search results because that's where the vast majority of bookings on our platform go through. Third and final, sponsored slots. Alex has already spoken about it. This proposition overrides all the other rules, automatically guarantees you slot 1 for an exclusive search. And yeah, that overrides all of the work we've done in the background to give you that top slot. So areas where we could add more value, obviously, we do a lot of work in the background, but we know there's more we can do. So the first of all is personalization. I've spoken about it a little bit already, but as we get more integrated with Booking.com and we understand more about their customers, particularly around hotel or flight bookings that might come before car, we can use that data to provide a more relevant search result. For example, if I'm going on holiday with my husband and it's just the 2 of us and we're going to somewhere like the Amalfi Coast in Italy, we don't necessarily want a huge car. So we should be using that information to drive that search result relevance for that customer. Likewise, in the US, if you're going on a long road trip with your family, we should be promoting a SUV to you. So simple things like that, but it's using that data to make it really relevant to the customer. The second is insight. So again, it's something we know we can add more value to you, in particular our partners, when we're thinking about things like how promotions are performing, how sponsored slots are performing, what data do you want to know, how can we provide that to you in kind of a contextual way, in a way that makes sense. I would say with this, it is a difficult problem to solve, but we are working on it in the background, and I'd love to hear from you what you want to know more about, and to help leverage this. But it is a tricky subject, but we are working hard in the background to try and realize this for you all. And finally, sophistication. Again, feedback from yourselves has told us you'd like more granularity when it comes to the ability to run a sponsored slot. You know, do you want to do it at a specific location, for example? We're working in the background with our product colleagues to make that a reality for you all. So again, more feedback, more sophistication in our product based on what you're all telling us. And I'll hand over to Alex.
Thank you. So we wanted to spend a bit of time just talking about where we see ourselves going in 2023 and what some of the big focus points are for us. But before we get into that, we just wanted to talk about some of the trading trends. For those of you who've been to our conferences before, you'll see that we're probably quite light on numbers. There's reasons for that. I'll tell you about later. But we did want to just give you a bit of a flavour of some of the things that we are seeing in the market and some of the sentiments that we're hearing. First and foremost, customers are still really, really keen to travel. We're seeing that in our demand numbers, right? Not just in the present, but also when we look at sort of future lead time bookings. Anecdotally, there was a recent bit of research done by McDonald's, believe it or not, and they actually looked at customer discretionary spend. And the one thing that customers were unwilling to sacrifice was their holiday. They'll sacrifice their car, they'll sacrifice their renovations on their house, loads of different things. But the one thing they didn't want to give up was their holiday. So I think that can probably give us all quite a bit of confidence that even if the economy continues to be squeezed, customers will still be looking to spend on travel, which I think can give us a bit of hope. McDonald's wasn't high on that list, by the way. People are quite happy to sacrifice McDonald's. I don't think it's what they wanted to hear. The second thing we're seeing, we are starting to see some stronger availability. Last year, fleet was not in the best of places in a lot of critical markets. We are hearing that fleet numbers are starting to get a bit better, and we're seeing that in some of the rates. Rates have definitely softened a little bit. Not on a gradual trend, more on peaks and troughs, where people occasionally get more aggressive to try and build that utilization number. But we are definitely seeing them soften. Still significantly more healthy than 2019. So I still think we can expect very good RPDs in the year ahead, but certainly not at the same levels that they were last year. And then the final observation that we're seeing in trading is really return to the seasonal norms, if you like, that we saw in 2019. We're definitely seeing a return to longer lead times. We're certainly seeing probably a healthier mix of international versus domestic. If we look back to last year, the vast majority of business was domestic still. Although having said that, we're still seeing some long-haul destinations probably struggle slightly more, and they're coming back on a far more slower time frame. But I think on the whole, a really positive return to where we are. And fingers crossed, after this year, we can stop talking about 2019 because it does my head in. Feedback. So when we started thinking about what do we want to do next year, where do we really focus our efforts, we went through all of the feedback that you guys really, really kindly provide to us. We obviously ask a survey every 3 months. And yes, the top bit was that survey frequency was a negative, so we've listened and learned to that, and we will now be doing it once every 6 months. But we heard some other things as well, right? Contact information, not great. Our XMLs and our tech, not in the place where it needs to be. Promotional opportunities, not where we like them to be. But there's some good stuff as well, right? So, you like the commercial support you're receiving and dealing with the team, so we're really, really proud of that. You saw partnership as being hugely important. Again, we're really, really proud of the fact that we have that feeling between us, right? Because we really want to be aligned and working together with all of you. Having listened to that, our number one focus, deepening connections with you. This is about our tech. We really, really want to make sure that your ability to connect with us through the APIs that we have is significantly easier than it has been in the past. We've had to make some hard decisions with that though, right? We've had to basically pause on a lot of integration work that we were going to do this year in terms of actually bringing partners to us so that we can fix the foundations that needed to be done. To put it into context, to do one integration was taking us about 6 to 8 weeks. It's a ridiculous length of time. And it was just slowing everything down for us. So we're really, really going to focus on making sure we put new integrations on Rails, making sure that we can actually get those done quickly. It does mean, as I say, we're going to have to pause some work in order to focus on doing this to make sure that we're in a much healthier place as we go forwards. There's other benefits to doing this, though. We know, and again, it came through in the feedback, that some of the data that we hold constantly has inaccuracies in it or errors. That comes about from the fact that we have a very manual process in terms of how you, our partners, send us information and how we then actually key it into our systems. It takes a lot of administrative effort, and it is, as with anything done manually, prone to errors. So we want to be able to pull that data directly through you. We want our APIs to be slick enough and sophisticated enough that we can take all of the terms and conditions, opening hours, location details, straight down the APIs where available, and be able to dynamically show it to our customers to improve that information. The next thing we want to do, as always, is focus on growth. There's 3 big things, this being the first, that I'll just talk to you about in terms of how we are looking to grow and create opportunity for us in the next year. We focused massively on Genius in the last 12 months. That's not going to change. Why do we love it? It massively boosts the visibility that you, our partners, have on the Booking.com site. A couple of stats there: 70% more search result views, 30% more bookings from being part of the Genius campaigns. It is part of the fabric of Booking.com, as I'm sure you all know. I'm sure all of you are Booking.com users. I hope you are. And it is really fundamental to the connected trip and the customer journey that we're trying to present. It drives better conversion. Genius customers convert twice as well as a non-Genius customers. I know you're all sitting there thinking, yeah, I know that's because you make it cheaper. And part of that is true. It's also a fact that Genius customers are just more loyal to Booking.com. They trust in what Booking.com do, and they are therefore more keen to convert and go through the cycles that we have. Last but not least, and this maybe offsets some of that RPD impact, we know high-value customers love Genius. So we definitely see greater value offsetting some of the discount that we offer coming through and boosting up the RPDs that we've got. Chris, did you have some stats from earlier on?
Yeah, from this morning, it was presented to you, and you may have seen where we're saying that within the high-value customers, they tend to travel 3 times more than your average customer. They spend twice more, actually up to 60% more, and they stay for around 35% longer on durations or calories or volumes. So you definitely see the value in that channel.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Alongside these 3 things, we have also heard the feedback that just offering a very, very simple 10% discount all the time maybe doesn't provide the sophistication or tactical levers that some of you might like to use. I'm not promising that's going to change in the next 12 months, but we have heard you loud and clear, and we are looking internally at how we can do more added value, different types of propositions within Genius to try and broaden the range of offer to the customers as we go through. Second big thing, and you've heard it a few times now, sponsored slots. We see this as being a really, really powerful strategic tool for us to be able to use with you. I didn't give any stats earlier, but we have got them up here. We see increases, and there's a variance there because it's different slightly by different markets and different partners and obviously different price points that we're at. But the boundaries of what we've seen are a 27 to 55% increase in bookings and a 29 to 62% increase in share. We're looking at how we offer this to you guys as well. When we first talked to a number of you about sponsored slots, it was basically a marketing pot. It was a one-off payment. We are looking to see how we can do that as essentially a profit share, revenue share, to make sure that we have skin in the game as well when it comes to how we offer sponsored slots. I spoke earlier about the fact that it was a relatively blunt tool, and it probably didn't have the level of granularity in it that a lot of you needed. We're going to be adding that functionality in the next 12 months. We will be looking to make sure that we can offer it by different locations, which we can't do at the moment. Looking to offer it for different car groups to make sure that that's an option. Because we've heard you loud and clear, a one-size-fits-all for an entire country is quite a broad statement to make and probably makes it harder for you to strategically invest in this as a proposition. The third bit, this is really important. You've really asked us to have more access to insights. Talked earlier about Portal and what it was going to be able to do for us. And one of the next big things we want to do is make sure that we have the ability for you to self-serve insights and analytics straight out of Portal. We've listed a few things there that we're looking at, particularly around customer and particularly about trading performance. We definitely see the opportunities here for you to be able to self-serve that information, to be able to help you make more informed decisions about what works in our business and what doesn't. Really, really important for us. We'd really welcome feedback as well from you. We've heard that you want this. We'd really like the specifics of what type of information do you need? What kind of insights are really going to help inform decisions within your business so that we can really make sure that when we actually launch this, we've got all of the right things there to actually succeed in what we're trying to deliver. Really just some final thoughts from me on this. There's 3 big areas where me and the team are really focused on how do we work better with all of you. The first one is innovation. We're going to be doing loads of stuff that you've heard about here over the next 12 months that we want to do better. The connected trip, partner ports, new propositions. We want to make sure that we're working with all of you to make sure that innovation not just works for us, but also works for you and then works for our customers. I should say travelers now, shouldn't I? For our travelers. Alignment, always incredibly important for us as a business. This is market alignment, though, what I'm talking about here, right? This is about making sure that we are of the same mindset, in the same place when it comes to how we trade, making sure that we're in competitive positions, making sure that we're offering the right products to the right customers at the right time. Talks to what Jess was saying earlier. And making sure that we have the right quality of product being offered to our customers in all of the locations where they're looking to rent. And then lastly, most importantly for me, we talked about it earlier, partnership. We want to make sure that we're doing things the right way. we're growing with you together and that we have trust between us in the relationship to make sure that all of these things that we're working on drives that continuous improvement I've listed at the bottom. And Jess, I think it's over to you.
So to close us out, 3 key takeaways from the talk today. If you take nothing else away, please take away these 3 final thoughts. So the first one is growing Booking.com is our focus, and app presents a unique opportunity. So Alex spoke about some of the statistics around being the most downloaded app for travel in the world in 2022. So the focus is going to be on Booking.com. How do we grow our car rental business within Booking.com and the ecosystem that they've set up? And really with a laser focus on app. We're seeing really strong growth in the app, particularly for car year over year. So we intend to really focus on what we can merchandise differently in the app and how we can approach growth within the app differently. The second thing is deepening connections with partners. So be that through things like insights, through Portal or other integrations, or particularly just through discussions with you, events like this. Listening to your feedback, taking it on board, and hopefully getting into a more steady cadence of feedback to you seeing changes that you like in what we're offering you. And finally, I couldn't end this talk without just plugging it again, the connected trip. So we really are focused on Booking.com. We're focused on understanding how we can knit ourselves into the connected trip proposition that's being built. You'll have heard a lot about it today, a lot about it tomorrow. But really, that's where we see our North Star being, and that's really where we see the car vertical growing over the next few years. So with that, a big thank you. We're going to do a Q&A, kind of a formal session in 10 minutes or so after a bit of a break. If there's any burning questions, we're happy to take some now. Otherwise, you can hold on to them or have a think about them, and we can take them in 10 minutes or so.
Are there any questions in the app at the moment, Chris?
No, there's no questions.
Oh, thanks. Does that mean we're so good there's no questions?